Hello everyone, nice to see you again. I hope you are doing well during this Ccp'Virus pandemic. In our last 5 episodes, we discussed in detail how the Chinese Communist Party, the Ccp'S cover-ups and suppression of information has not only led to the global outbreak of COVID-19 or the Ccp'Virus, but also misled the world and made other governments make wrong judgment and decisions in terms of how severe the disease was and how to contain and fight it. Today, let's continue to discuss what happened in February. On February the 10th, Fang Bing, a Wuhan resident who shot and uploaded multiple videos inside hospitals in Wuhan, which revealed the real dire situation, was arrested. His whereabouts is unknown till this day. Also on that day, the Chinese edition of the Epoch Times published an exclusive investigation gained through an undercover investigator. A Wuhan funeral home staffer admitted that 61% of the bodies burned there directly came from their homes, not from hospitals. The Epoch Times thus estimated that the death toll in China could be more than 10,000, while the Ccp was only reporting 6% of the real deaths. The Epoch Times also reported that Zhou Peiyi, a Hong Kong resident hired by the University of Chinese Academy of Social Sciences, was fired after criticized on WeChat the social system for the loss of human lives during the epidemic. Also on that day, according to a deleted report from a Chinese media, Economic Watch, a 70-year-old man, Mr. Liang, in Wuhan, killed himself by jumping out of the building after he suspected to have contracted Ccp'Virus. He only said one sentence to his wife before he jumped: "I don't want to affect you." Similar cases like this have also been reported before, in which infected people choose to kill themselves as they couldn't be admitted into hospital, or could they stay at home as they didn't want to infect their families. Also on this day, an advanced team of international experts led by the World Health Organization (WHO) arrived in Beijing to help investigate China's coronavirus epidemic. On February 11th, China's top expert Zhong Nanshan, who was chosen by the Ccp to announce that the disease is transmitted from human to human, did an exclusive interview with Reuters and said that the outbreak would peak in middle or late February and might be over by February. On February 13th, a nurse at a hospital in the county near Wuhan was forced to write a self-criticism statement for having posted cries for help on Weibo. She said in that post that she was a nurse of a people's hospital at her county, and they lacked supplies seriously and had to reuse their masks and other personal protective equipment. She was later forced by her workplace to write 3 self-criticism statements in a row for having publicly sought help, as this would expose the real and serious situation of her hospital, and that was allowed in Ccp society. The Ccp always needs to control what kind of information can be released. Also on that day, Hubei Health Commission published an update and announced 14,840 new cases had been confirmed on the previous day. Prior to that day, only 1,638 new cases were reported. The Health Commission explained that the reason for the abrupt jump was that it had changed the criteria for diagnosis and had included clinical symptoms as one of the criteria instead of only relying on virus testing results. On February 14th, 55-year-old Chang Kai, the director at the communication department at Hubei Film Studio, died. His death caused a lot of public attention, as 4 of his family members, including his sister and his parents, died out one after another in just 17 days. Both his parents were professors of Tongji Hospital in Wuhan, and Chiang Kai wasn't able to get his father admitted into the hospital, and that was why his entire family got infected. People were shocked by the fact that even such high-profile persons like Chiang Kai and his professor parents couldn't get treatment, and how fatal this virus could be. On February 15th, 40 mobile trash and animal corpse incinerators were sent to Wuhan. Each has a capacity to process 5 tons of trash and animal corpse and can finish the job in just 2 seconds at a temperature over 850 degrees Celsius or 1,562 degrees Fahrenheit. 5 tons of materials per day equals to about 75 dead human bodies or large animal bodies per unit per day. If we suppose each body was 66 kilograms, which is the average weight for male adults in China, 40 incineration ovens have the capacity to burn 3,030 human bodies per day, and this has not included the bodies burned and the dozens of regular incinerators at Wuhan that were all running 24/7. However, the CCP official death toll was hovering around only 100 at that time. Also on that day, Ccp head Xi Jinping made censorship on the internet on anything concerning the virus even stricter, and human rights activist Xu Zhiyong, who had publicly asked Xi Jinping to apologize for his cover-ups about the virus and resign, was arrested. In the meantime, Chinese media Qiu Shi General published a series of things that Xi Jinping did since the outbreak, with a title, "The Responsibility That the Leader of a Great Power Shoulders, the General Secretary's Diary of Fighting the Epidemic." This diary praises Xi Jinping for unifying the nation and leading a people's war against the epidemic. On February 16th, academic Xu Zhuangren was put under house arrest and banned from using the internet after publishing an essay claiming that the coronavirus epidemic has revealed the rotten core of Chinese governance. Also on that day, a paper posted on the International Scholarly Database ResearchGate by 2 Chinese scientists disappeared. The paper suggested that the virus may have originated from bats in 2 Wuhan laboratories rather than from wild bats. And the 2 Chinese scientists are Dr. Xiao Bohai from South China University of Technology and in Guangzhou and Dr. Xiao Lei from Wuhan University of Science and Technology. On February 17th, Wuhan Virology Institute posted a statement supposedly by Chen Quanjiao, saying that she did not use her real name to publish a post that says Wang Yanyi, the director of Wuhan Virology Institute, was responsible for the escaping of the virus. However, according to Sound of Hope Radio, a Chinese writer revealed that a relative of Chen Quanjiao sent him a private message saying that Chen Quanjiao was already controlled by the government, and the official statement on Wuhan Virology Institute's website was faked, and that Chen's original post was true. The CCP also tried to force her to appear on TV to make a confession, and that Chen was resisting the pressure. People also question if Chen Quanjiao had found out that someone else had used her name to publish false information. Why didn't she use her personal account to refute that claim, and why her so-called statement had to be published at Wuhan Virology Institute's official website? On February 19th, the CCP expelled 3 Wall Street Journal reporters after the paper published an opinion article entitled "China is the Real Sigma of Asia." On February 21st, CCP authorities in Wuhan announced that on top of 13 Fangchang hospitals currently in use, 14 more will be added before February 25th, and the total capacity by then would be 30,000 beds. On February 23rd, according to internal secret files exclusively obtained by the Epoch Times, the Health Commission of Liaoning Province of China issued orders to local health commissions and asked them to destroy documents related to the Ccp'Virus outbreak. Staff who had access to the data were also required to sign a letter of commitment, which stipulated that officials promised to delete relevant documents from their laptops, computers, smartphones, external drives, and so on. Furthermore, the signee will delete any screenshots and photos he or she made of the documents and will promise not to share the contents of said documents with any party. Screenshots received by the Epoch Times also show that a document with the following title is listed as deleted. Information about the close contacts of person with novel coronavirus supplied by China's Center for Disease Control and Prevention Information Center. On February 24th, the WHO China Joint Mission on COVID-19 held a press conference in Beijing after its one-week field investigation in China. Bruce Orward, senior advisor to the Director General of the WHO and head of the foreign expert panel, said, "The measures China has taken offered experience of improving the global response to the disease, and if I had COVID-19, I'd want to be treated in China. To the people of Wuhan, it's recognized that the world is in your debt." On the following day, Bruce Orward admitted at a press conference in Geneva that the WHO China Joint Mission was formed under a request or a decision actually made by the President of China in a meeting with Dr. Tedros, with a joint feeling that China had done a huge amount of work and it could inform, say, both the global response as well as China's own response to have an independent mission come in and have a review and an assessment of what has been done and lessons for the way forward. One would doubt how independent the joint mission could be if it was formed under a request and a decision by the President of China in an attempt to glorify the huge amount of work that the CCP had done. Also on that day, a video showing a woman saying that she had seen several people wrapped into body bags while still breathing during the outbreak was circulated on the internet. On February 26, Ccp'S mouthpiece Xinhua announced the publication of a book by the Ccp'S Central Propaganda Department, which will be translated into 6 languages. The book explains how President Xi Jinping's outstanding leadership as a great power leader has defeated the virus. Also on that day, Li Zhehua, a former CCTV host, was taken away by police after he tried to do independent reporting from Wuhan. After about 40 days, on February 16th, a video of Li Zhehua was uploaded to YouTube, in which Li said that after he was taken away by police, he had been put under quarantine at 2 different places, with his phone and computer taken away and kept by a friend. He said the police had treated him nicely, and he had been with his family after the quarantine finished. However, people doubt how sincere his words are, saying this video looks like a hostage reading from a manuscript. On February 27th, China's top expert Zhong Nanshan said at a press conference in Guangzhou that the disease appeared in China first, but the virus may not necessarily have originated in China, indicating that the CCP was ready to try to blame other countries for the outbreak of the pandemic. On February 29th, China Daily, a state media organ, launched a coronavirus timeline but displays no information regarding events before January 25th. From the above discussion, we can see that throughout February, on the one hand, people were dying at alarming speed, but on the other hand, the CCP continued to suppress information and greatly underreported the infection and death numbers. As a result, a lot of countries in the world still thought this was not that serious a problem after all. Many governments did nothing or very little to prepare for the outbreak that would come very soon. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you for watching. Truth does save lives. Please subscribe to my channel and share it. Thank you again. See you next time.